Talks with Reuben Abati.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of your number one talk show, City Talks with Reuben Abati, on your number one lifestyle station, City 1051 FM. On this show, we talk about stories of political and human interest that affect us as Nigerian citizens and as members of a global human community. Today, we'll be discussing the local government elections and the Nigerian polity. Today, we have local government elections in Ogun State. We also have local government elections in Lagos State, but we'll be focusing more on Lagos State and other issues about, that third tier of government. And to guide us through this, we have a very special guest. His name is Senator Musiliu Obanikoro. Senator Musiliu Obanikoro is a Nigerian politician and former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and also former ambassador of Nigeria to Ghana. He had his early education at St. Patrick Catholic School, Idumagbo, Lagos, and also at Ahmadiyya College, Agege. He worked briefly as a clerical officer at the Lagos State Health Management Board, and also at the Union Bank as a clerk before traveling overseas for further studies. While in the United States, he attended Texas Southern University, where he earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Public Affairs and later a Master's degree in Public Administration. He returned to Nigeria in 1989 and he began his political career immediately. He was appointed Caretaker Committee Chairman of Surulere Local Government under the National Republican Convention at the time, NRC. He was also elected State Deputy Chairman of the NRC, and the Otedola administration also appointed him as director of the Lagos State Bulk Purchasing Corporation. He was also a member of the Lagos State Football Association. In the course of his political career, he has served as delegate to local government congresses, state congresses, and national conventions. He has also served as elected state secretary, Justice Forum in Lagos. He was also the chairman at a point of the Lagos Island local government. He was a national executive member also of the Grassroots Democratic Movement, GDM, under the military government of General Sani Abacha. Senator Musiliu Obanikoro was later appointed State Commissioner for Home Affairs and Culture in 1999, and he served in that capacity for 4 years before he was elected Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, representing Lagos Central Senatorial District. In 2004, he was appointed by President Olusegun Obasanjo as a member of the 2004 Amirul Hajj Committee. As a senator, Musiliu Obanikoro proposed various motions on the surge and overflow of the Atlantic Ocean, the protection of Lagos from the menace of flood, the resolution of the clash between men of the Nigerian police and men of the Nigerian Army in Lagos. He also sponsored several bills. Well, much later, President Umaru Yar'Adua appointed Musiliu Obanikoro as Nigeria's High Commissioner to Ghana, and that was in May 2008. He will also later serve as Minister of State for Defense and also Minister of State for Foreign Affairs under the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan administration. If you want to be part of this conversation, you can call us on 0700-1051-1051. You can also leave comments on WhatsApp 090-99-64403 and on social media accounts at City 1051 on Zoom and Facebook. It is my pleasure to welcome to this program on your behalf Senator Musiliu Obanikoro. Senator Obanikoro, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, Reuben, and thank you again for that elaborate introduction. Thank you so much.
Well, we were just stating the facts. Your very prolific and versatile engagement in the public space in Nigeria. But before we begin to engage with Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, just to give the background, today in 57 local government areas in Lagos, in 377 wards, local council elections have been organized. There are 13,323 polling units across the state. And now today, the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission is organizing the elections across 3 senatorial districts. Movement has been restricted from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we assume that by now the process is underway. We have our correspondent Charles Flames, who has been going from one part of the state to the other, one polling booth to the other, to give us a situation report. Charles Flames, welcome to the program.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Charles. Yes, you have been on the field since morning. What have you observed? Which local governments have you visited? And what are the key issues that you have observed in terms of the preparedness of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission and also voter turnout, which was a big issue in the last local government elections in Lagos State?
Okay, so far, in most local government areas and LCDAs, polling agents arrived on time, while others arrived very late due to logistics. At 8 a.m., no polling booth was sited around the Ifakorjai local government area, which possibly means sensitive materials didn't get to the area on time. And at Iru, Victoria Island, Ward B, agents were already on ground, waiting for people to come out and mass to cast their vote. The card reader is working fine, and security men are also on ground. But as at 9 a.m. to 9:30 on Lagos Island, no polling booth was also sighted. The youth took over the street and turned it to a football pitch. As at 10 a.m. at polling unit 027, Ward 34, at Surulere local government, they are having issues with card reader over there, which they are trying to fix. They are also experiencing a very low turnout of voters. At Agege local government, there has been a very low turnout also. The card reader is working perfectly. Security men are fully on ground. And the atmosphere is very, very peaceful. No tension at all. And at Ward B, polling unit 001, Ifakorjai local government, polling agents arrived at 8:15 a.m. Vote started around 8:48 a.m. Turnout of voters is very fair. Card reader is working perfectly. No security men on ground, but the area is peaceful. But currently, where I am now is the Iju area unit, Ifakorjai local government, polling unit 002. They are having issues with card reader also. The turnout is very impressive, and security men are also on ground, and the atmosphere is very peaceful.
Well, from what you have seen, what's your assessment of the people's compliance with the restriction order with regard to movement? People should just focus on the election from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes. Right now, everywhere is very dry. You can't see much people outside. Although people are trying to move around, doing one or two things, but they really obeyed the restriction. Yes.
But do you think that the restriction is responsible for the low voter turnout that you have observed in some parts of the city?
Well, I don't think so, because I feel most people, especially the people I'm with here, they are saying they don't have anything to do with local government elections, so they don't feel like voting.
Well, but do we have any report from other local governments that are not immediately within the city of Lagos? I mean, there is election in Ijede, there is election in Ikorodu North, Ikorodu, another parts of Ikorodu, all the way to Amuwo Odofin and all of that. Do we know what the situation is in those other parts of Lagos State?
Yes, situation in those areas, everywhere has been peaceful also. The election is also going on in those areas peacefully. No issue at all. The card readers are also working perfectly. But the major issue there has been there is the turnout of voters. Nobody wants to come out and cast their votes. maybe they don't like the people who are going for the position of chairman and councillor, but the turnout is very low.
Okay, thank you very much, Charles Flames. We'll keep in touch with you as we now engage Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, who has been caretaker chairman of the Surulere local government and also later chairman of the Lagos Island local government area before he moved on to international and national service. Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, thank you very much for staying with us. Well, from what our correspondent has said, it looks like there is low voter turnout, and he also is saying that the people say they don't care about local government elections. I mean, why do you think this is the case? Because 4 years ago, it was the same situation in Lagos. Voter turnout was so low, and this time around, yes, people are just staying at home. They think it's an holiday, and they are not coming out. Why this voter apathy, particularly with regard to local governments?
Reuben, there are so many reasons for this, and you don't have to look far to begin to appreciate why people feel this way. One, every one of us, we have become a government unto ourselves. That's one. Two, you also have the economic hardship all over the place. And on top of that is this belief by an average person that their vote does not count. So until we overcome these challenges, we will have difficulties having people participating in elections. But if you look at it, if you flip it, to me, it's a mistake. You have to participate. It is a democracy. And the only way you can get the government that you deserve is when you participate. By not participating, it's anybody's game. And when it is anybody's game, you cannot complain afterwards. So some of these challenges that we have at the local level now are as a result of that. When good people don't come out to participate in an election, then definitely you may not necessarily get good people to run the affairs of the local government. And when you now have the effect, then people complain that they are not getting dividend of democracy. There is no sense in participation. To begin with, they never participated. So we must find a way as a people, through community engagement, to get our people to come out and appreciate the essence of local government administration. Because that is the closest government to the people. It is easier for an average person to go to their local government than to go and see the governor in Alausa. If you can get your local representatives accountable, we will begin to feel the impact of government positively more than we are feeling as we speak today.
Senator Obanikoro, do you think that the low voter turnout that is being reported is particularly because of the build-up to the local council elections in Lagos State? You will recall that there were protests within the APC in Amuwo, Dofin, Kushofe, Ekpe, Eredo, Ojodu, Apapa, Ojokoro, protest about the primaries and the nomination, the emergence of chairmanship candidates and councillorship candidates. It wasn't also different in the PDP. The PDP also had its own crisis. So could that be the reason why people feel, why bother? Because the party leaders have already decided on their own, irrespective of what the electorate want.
No, that is not true. You see, as of today, I can tell you that decisions are not just taken without consideration to all the factors that must come to play in the selection of candidates. Any which way you want to skin it, you will still have Nigerians have not cultivated the habit of being a good loser when they lose elections. So we must have that at the back of our mind. But be that as it may, quite a number of people, once a party has taken a position, it behoves every member of that party to either reluctantly or otherwise support the position of the party, as long as you are a loyal member of that party. What we must now do, once that phase is over, is to ensure the cleaning up. How do we clean up whatever mistakes that are inherent in the system that we are running? But to suggest that because you are not the candidate of the party, then you will not participate in mobilization and things like that, that is not the way a party, a good party person is supposed to. I'm not saying we have a perfect, that we have a perfect system in place in picking our candidates. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the system is perfect. It is far from perfect. We can do better, but it will take all of us to get to that level. But all I'm saying is that as a party person, once a decision is taken, it behoves all of us to rally around that decision and ensure the success of that position. But as you know, people ordinarily, once they are not chosen or once they didn't win a primary, they feel that they are not going to be part of that process. That could be responsible. But as I've said to you, there are quite other factors at play now. And if you look at previous elections, the elections we've had in recent past, even the one conducted by INEC, you will observe that the participation has been going down. And these are some of the issues that as politicians, we need to interrogate. Why are the figures, if you look from 2003 till present, you will see a very drastic drop in the number of voters participating in any given election in Lagos State. I'm sure we have not successfully interrogated why that is happening. Otherwise, we'll have been able to find a solution to them. But as I've said, I have said some of them, some of the ones that are visible in terms of people being very unhappy with the situation of the country and what have you. And also this notion that the elections are predetermined, that they are not going to waste their time to go and vote. And that's one of the reasons why we politicians must challenge ourselves and ensure that we have a transparent process, a credible process of election. Because there is no sense in somebody saying, I am a chairman, or I am a governor, or I'm a senator, or I'm a rep member, or I am this, I am that, in elective office, and not have the legitimacy that is required to govern.
Okay, Senator, maybe I should clarify, what I had in mind. The point is about internal democracy. It's not about what party leaders or the decision that is reached by the party. Take your party, for example, the All Progressives Congress. Primaries were conducted. But in Shomolu, in Amuwodofin, in Kushofe, there and other local government areas, Apapa and Ojokoro, as I said earlier, and even Agege, there were complaints that persons who won the primaries were substituted with other persons who seemed to be favored by the political leadership. And so they felt that they were automatically excluded. Are you saying that within the political party system, internal democracy is not so important?
No, I agree. I totally agree with you that internal democracy is very key, even to the whole process itself, because that's the foundation. I totally agree with you. I am saying that I agree with you that we don't have a perfect system in place in terms of primaries. But we have gone beyond that now. What we need to do, the challenge now, is how do we clean it up? I'm not going to come on radio and begin to accuse people of this, of that. No, I have admitted, yes, we have areas in which we need to improve on. I totally agree with you, but you don't wash your dirty linen in public. You go back inside and do the cleaning that you have to do. Meanwhile, you cannot kill your party because you've been sidelined or an error has occurred in the nomination process. As a result of that, we have to kill the party. No, I totally agree with you. I'm not deviating from what you are saying. Maybe I'm just putting my own in a different perspective. You can open up the way you have opened up as a journalist, but me as a participant, I cannot, in good conscience, run my party down, knowing fully well that the system we run is not perfect, and we are not pretending that we are running a perfect system.
Okay, Senator, I would like you to comment on campaign finance. Campaign finance has been a major issue, even at the National Assembly level. The National Assembly, one of the major controversial issues is the plan by that National Assembly to increase funding, the limit of funding for presidential election to 15 billion naira, at the governorship level to 5 billion naira, and all that all the way down. Now, in the build-up to this Lagos State local government elections, campaign finance was also an issue. The Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission says for you to be chairman, you have to have at least 150,000 naira. If you want to be vice chairman, you must have 100,000 naira. If you want to be a councillor, you must have 75,000 naira to even buy nomination forms. Now, there was protest over that, but last year stood its ground. And then within the APC, in fact, what was proposed was even higher. For you to be a chairman, if you are male, you were required to pay 2 million. Female, you pay 1 million. If you want to be a councillor, you will need 500,000. If you are a female, you pay 250,000. Now, don't you think that these high figures with regard to nomination forms and campaign finance and purchase of eligibility forms pose a very serious threat, and that even in this process, whatever comes out of it today, many people will have been excluded simply on the grounds that they cannot afford those high figures?
Reuben, the idea of commercializing elections, to me, is quite very unfortunate. I am not in support. I'm not in support, and I cannot be in support. And let me tell you why I cannot be. I can recall vividly in 1992 when I joined full-time politics, or 1990 thereabout. I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am today if such impediments were placed in my way. And so, what informed this? It's unfortunate. What informed this is because we live in a society where almost other windows at getting things done in life is closing or has closed. Therefore, the only opportunity you have now is to participate in politics. And then when you now see the scramble for public office, then you will be compelled to put certain requirements in place to see how we can manage all this interest. Don't forget that when leadership are also accused of imposition, it is also in the process of trying to have a balance. It's not that they also are happy that all these crises emanating from the primaries are there. But when you are boxed and you want to free yourself, you will definitely look for ways in which you can reduce the number of people who are contesting for one position at a time. If these things are left to be free, Reuben, you'll be shocked that for one position, you will have about 2,000 people contesting for one position. I am not saying this is the best, but we must now further challenge ourselves and come up with better ways, not the commercialization. We must find a better way of ensuring that our candidates for election come out not as a result of how much money they have, but rather than what they can offer the public. But it is a very Herculean task to achieve. But we must get there. Asking somebody to pay 15 billion, to have access to 15 billion before they can run for president is preposterous, as far as I'm concerned. You don't do that. There's nowhere in the world where that is done. The only requirement for election, even in America or Britain, is you have access to money. But nobody will define how much access you should have or how much cash is required. That kind of prescribing such legally, to me, is wrong, and it should not see the light of the day. That's my position. And that's the position I will canvass as far as the party is concerned.
Well, Senator, you are grounded in Lagos State grassroots politics. You were caretaker chairman in Surulere local government. You were chairman Lagos Island local government. Your son, Honorable Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro, was also chairman at Ikuyi Obalende local government area before he went on to the House of Reps to represent Etiosa federal constituency. So, you know how to read the politics. But do you see by the end of today a situation whereby Lagos would, at the grassroots level, have also become effectively a one-party state? We're told that about 14 or 15 local political parties taking part, but out of all those political parties, only APC and PDP can gather some muscle. Even African Action Congress, the party is so weak in Lagos, they can only field candidates in Agbado, Okeodo, and Ikorodu North. Some of the other political parties are not in every constituency, like the APC. What's your prediction? Because it looks like the playing field is not fair to some of the other political parties involved.
Well, in a plural society, we must ensure that the minority have their say and majority must have their way. My take on that is very simple. As long as the space is available for participation, and when we are talking about participation, the process must be credible. Once we are able to achieve that, all other things will take care of itself. And that is why it is very important for the National Assembly to revisit that transmission of election results. Because we have, to a reasonable extent, we have been able to get accreditation right to a reasonable extent. We still have issues with the card readers, but it's not as pronounced as the transmission of election results. Once we can have a credible means of transmission, then you will see a more robust and fair participation on the part of these other parties that you are talking about. And then probably there will be more citizen participation too. Because once they know, you see, Nigerians love to agitate. And I believe if they have a chance to put that agitation into action, they will mass out and vote their choice. So this is what we must encourage to deepen our democracy. Anything short of that, Dr. Abati, is a waste of time. Today, without sounding arrogant, I think the majority party in Lagos State is APC. No doubt in my mind about that. So if the outcome of today's election reflects that, I will not be surprised.
Okay, fair enough. But you mentioned the electronic transmission of results, which is a major issue out there in the public domain with regard to Section 52, Clause 52, Subsection 3 of the proposed Electoral Act Amendment Bill. And I mean, I noticed that the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission has been saying that it's going to work hard, despite issues that have been experienced in the last 24 hours, to ensure electronic transmission. And I think LASIEC also has a portal to that effect. Do you think they will be able to do it? And if they do it, what would that be saying to us, the rest of us across Nigeria?
Well, if Lagos, well, we are a state of excellence, Dr. Abati. We are a state of excellence, and I will not be surprised if we are the first state in this country to lead the way for even Nigeria to follow. That is my own expectation, to be honest with you. Anything short of that, we are not living to the true meaning of our name as a state of excellence. That's my wish, that we take the lead. Even as we speak, you and I are talking through Zoom now. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, what I will hope for is a situation where I can go online. I want to see the result of election in Badagry and be able to see what has happened in every polling unit in Badagry. So that way, this idea of people dying while voting or while collation, during collation process, or is sick. We should not, at this age and time, have people killed for going out to exercise their right as a citizen in a country and in a democracy. It shouldn't be. So that is anything short of that pronouncement by the LASIEC in Lagos, to me, is unacceptable. So I'm happy that is what they are aspiring to. I just hope that they will accelerate it and we can become a shining example of what election should be and how to be in this part of the world.
Okay, shortly we're going to open up the lines to have comments from our listeners and persons who have joined us on other platforms. But before we do that, Senator, let me ask you. I mean, there's this perception that local government elections don't really mean much because the governors do not allow local government councils to function. They take over the functions of the local councils under the Section 7, Section 8 of the Constitution, relying in part on Section 162 of the Constitution, which is why when President Buhari insisted on local government autonomy, the governments have been kicking. Do you think that, that we'll see any change with regard to that? Because even the politicians...
Reuben, where we are today is very unfortunate in terms of local government administration in Nigeria. But I want to say this, and I don't want to speak only for Lagos. I'm going to speak for the entire country. I know Governor Sanwo-Olu is trying his best to ensure that he does not trample on the activities of the local government in Lagos State. But there are some laws that have been passed in various houses of assemblies that I think we need to revisit. See, where the states have captured all the revenues of local government, such as parking fees, land use, and some other small, revenue items of the local government that the states are now controlling should be reversed. That is not good for that tier of government. But unfortunately, the problem is in our constitution. The constitution only made mention of local government as a tier of government without giving responsibilities like the states and the federal. I want to believe that if the responsibilities that are supposed to be the local government responsibilities are stated clearly in our constitution, I'm sure it will have been very difficult to trample on them as they are now by various states in Nigeria. And more importantly, the caliber of people who are serving at the local government today will probably be better off if those responsibilities are listed, and you will now make the local government administration more attractive to people who have distinguished themselves in other fields or other endeavors to participate. But what we have now is almost impossible to have a man who have had a very successful career to want to go and manage a local government in Nigeria today, given the responsibilities that are there, or lack of it. So my take on that is that our lawmakers who are presently visiting the constitution trying to amend the constitution, should also go there and look at and take a second look at it. Make local government administration stronger and more effective. That way, our people can have an accelerated development.
Well, I get your point, but the point about the functions of the local government being spelled out, I think under Schedule 4 of the 1999 Constitution, those functions are properly spelled out. But the problem, I guess, is this state local government joint account under Section 162, subsection 6 of the 1999 Constitution. And it was the mischief in that Section 162, subsection 6, that Executive Order number 10 was supposed to correct. But, the governors have been fighting tooth and nail because they want to usurp the functions and the funds of the local councils.
The aspect of the Constitution that I'm talking about, Dr. Abati, is the one that gave the state assemblies the power to make laws for the local government.
Yes, Section 7.
That is a very powerful responsibility taken away from the local government. It used to be the responsibility of councillors to make bylaws and laws for their respective local government. But when you now take that away and put it in the state assembly, that has taken almost all their powers away. And that is what they are effectively using to reduce the local government administration. That is the aspect that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And that is the aspect that we need to revisit.
Okay, Senator, let's throw the lines open. If you want to be part of this conversation, you can call us on 0700-1051-1051. Or you can leave a comment on WhatsApp on 09099164403. Hello, we have a caller on the line.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, Reuben Abati, Dr. Abati. Well, I want to greet our Chief Obanikoro there. But my take on, I want to ask a quick question. Number one, don't you think the reason why the people refuse to come out, number one, is because...
I can't hear, Doctor, I can't hear what he's saying.
I'm hearing you. If you could just turn down the volume of your radio. It will be difficult for us to hear you if your radio is loud.
I'm no more there. Can you hear me now?
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I said number one reason. I said I want to ask two questions. Number one, I said the reason why the people are not coming out is because the governors have taken the responsibility of the local government. And so, if you go to the local government to be in charge of himself, if there is nothing to show about, and that is why the people believe that even if they vote anybody, they just believe that the governors are they've already appointed somebody who's going to be in charge of the local government. That is number one. Then number two, I want to ask. I'm sure Chief Obanikoro has gone so wide. He has been minister. He has been Minister of Defense and so on and so forth in so many positions. Why do we like John Policy? That is my question to him. Thank you.
What did he say?
Well, I didn't.
The last question.
I didn't get that second part myself, but the first part, he was saying the reason people have not gone out to vote.
But the governors have taken over the responsibilities of councils.
Yes.
I heard that, but I did the second part of it. The second leg I didn't get at all.
Yeah, I didn't hear him on that score too.
Well, I have also said that too, that in most of the states of the federation, that is what is happening as we speak. But I have also said that from my observation, the governor of Lagos State is trying his best to ensure that the local government administration is allowed to function in a manner that will bring respect to that tier of government.
Well, Senator, yes, Senator. Okay, I can see you now. I was going to say if you could adjust your screen so that you look straight into the camera. Okay, do we have another caller on the line? Hello?
Hey, Dr. Abati, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Abati, tell about the line. Ambassador Koro, good afternoon, sir. I think...
Good afternoon.
Yeah, the second question asked by the last caller was that why do politicians like to cross carpet? For instance, in the case of Senator Obanikoro, who rose to be...
Okay, why do we like to cross carpet? Well, okay, do you want to ask your own question or you want me to respond to that?
I asked that so that you can answer to that. It's a good question. Number one, sir. Anyway, I was part of those people who participated in your election in GDM 1996, 97. Yeah. So I worked against you then anyway, but you won. But Senator, I want to disagree with you a bit. In the area of bylaws of the local government that you talk about from councillors, the laws made by councillors cannot supersede in any case of clash those laws made by legislators at the state, because the state law is going to override the powers or the laws of that, and they can never clash. What Reuben Abati was asking you is in the area of revenue generation, for instance. You have tenement rate. It's absolute responsibility of local government to collect tenement rate. But today, you see states collecting land users, whatever, and there are more, even fines than the rest. And I think he did that as a chairman, and that was the law. So why do we have that? That's one. Number two, you spoke about the electoral transmission of results now. You're a former senator from Lagos Central. Lagos Central. And your representative right now, Senator Reuben, distinguished Senator Reuben Tinubu, had a different opinion to what you have now. You people are in the same party today, even though you just cross-carpeted to the party recently. Why did she not consult you? And if you have a different opinion, because I'm really surprised that you're in support of electoral transmission of results. I'm surprised. I'm serious. But then, what can you do so that we can get that? Because I believe that is going to save lives and save a lot of things as well. Finally, I think politicians, most of politicians we have today, like you said earlier, which of course you have not even said any third way, we have many commercial politicians. Because people don't go into politics to serve humanity, but just to enrich themselves. And that is why people can do anything to get into positions of authority, spend money, and there's no accountability. So that's what can we do to help that situation. Thank you very much.
Now, you see, you raised a very vital point. And if you look at the law passed by Lagos State House of Assembly, they were able to effectively take away that responsibility of the local government to collect tenement rates. And that is why I'm saying that in the past, even during the days of Alhaji Jakonde, the State Assembly didn't have the responsibility to make laws for the local governments. If we can go back to that, we will automatically eliminate the idea of the state serving as a collector and a sharer for the local government administration. Because the bulk of local government revenue comes from tenement rate. And once that is hijacked, either directly or indirectly, you have more or less crippled that tier of government. Now, on the issue of cross-carpeting, well, for me, returning to APC is like homecoming. So that's my response to that. And on the issue of transmission of election results, electronic transmission will help us eliminate the senseless, unnecessary killings and fighting that do happens from time to time at the collation centers and what have you. Now, we should not wait for people to react before we now start running helter-skelter to resolve this issue. People are crying now that the legitimacy that is needed by public office holders is not there. And should we now wait for the people to rise against us before we do something about it? To me, I think the answer is no. We should not. We should be proactive enough to ensure that we are credible as politicians. And the only way you can sit in an office, because I don't even know any office holder in Nigeria who can beat their chest to say, I have been legitimately elected. Because the process everywhere is tainted one way or the other. And we have to eliminate that. Whatever we can do to eliminate that is what I will support. And today, what seems reasonable and transparent is to ensure that that electronic transmission will make it hard for those people who will go and sit in their living room and write election results and get it announced as the authentic result.
Okay, Senator, before we take more phone calls, I see some people making comments on the laptop. Here is a comment, I think, from Foluke Ademokun. She says, people care about local government. The apathy is a protest, particularly by women who have been sidelined in the primaries. The senators should tell us why political parties continue to sideline women. And what have you personally done to encourage women participation in politics?
Well, to suggest that women are being sidelined is not being fair. So suggest that is not being fair. We have a good number of, in my local government, as I'm talking now, the person we are electing today in my local government is a lady. And there are other local governments too.
Senator, you are already sure she will be elected?
By the grace of God, we are the majority party in Lagos. And I know that the majority of our people will support her. Now, she's a lady. The person we are electing today, by the grace of God, is a lady. And in my place of residence, which is Ikoyi, if you go to Iru, the adjacent local government here, We have a woman there who is also going to be elected by the grace of God today also. And then if you go to the suburb of Lagos too, we have some women there too that are going to be elected. We also have women as vice, not just women, and we have women councillors. In fact, in my own local government, we have 7 councillors. 4 of them who are contesting today are women. So we are doing our best to ensure we encourage women to participate, because we know the more women you have in this process, the better, the richer for the process.
Okay, I get that point. Well, we'll take another call. Who is on the line now? The senator is still here. Hello, do we have another call or a message on? Okay, yes, okay. Well. I don't know. I think maybe the senator has addressed this, but here's someone on WhatsApp saying, my question is, did Senator Oluremi Tinubu consult with her constituency or call you before she agreed to support the Northern agenda against electronic transmission of voting, which you says you welcome? Adegboyega Adedeji. I think, did you not already address that?
Well, you see, this from information emanating from the National Assembly, they are also careful to run away from this popular idea of electronic transmission. You see, what they are saying, you can see that they are trying to hide under different. I had one of them stood up and said he's using Turaya in his village. As a result of that, there is no network for such system to work, which INEC came out and countered. But you see, in the process of building a consensus, people tend to do a give and take. So I'm sure a lot must have gone into what we saw at the Senate. But fortunately, the version that the House of Reps is putting up will ensure that when they go to a conference to sort out the differences in the versions passed, we may end up with the same thing. We should just speak out more. People should be vociferous about this. People should not just sit back and think it's not a done deal yet. They are still going to have a conference between the Senate and the House version. It is at that conference that the final document will come out. So all of us should still raise our voice in whatever manner that we can.
Okay, Senator, just before we go back to Charles Flames to give us further field reports, there is someone here, Sulaiman Adebiyi, who is asking you, what is Senator Obanikoro's advice on the involvement and participation of youth in politics?
Well, I started politics when I was 29. Immediately I came back from the US, I jumped into it, and I can tell you for free, there is nobody who knows where the shoe pinches better than the person who is wearing it. The youth of today are the ones that will live the whatever it is that we are doing today, whether it is a mess or it is something good. Whatever it is we are doing today, they will feel the impact more than those of us who are major actors. So they need to engage now and ensure that their own contributions too are embedded in whatever it is that we're going to do going forward. The idea of youth just talking about power is never given to anybody. You must go get it. Unfortunately, you have the numbers. We were also discouraged at the point we started. It wasn't that we were encouraged. No, we were discouraged by the powers that be at that time. But we fought tooth and nail to get to where we are. So I want to also encourage them too, that they must wear their boots, come out, and continue to push for whatever it is they believe in. After all, they are the ones who will inherit this country. I even always refer to them as a higher stakeholder. They are a higher stakeholder because they have more years ahead of them. If I'm over 60 now, if by the grace of God I live for another 20 years, I'll be grateful to Almighty God. But they still have, a number of them have 40, 50, 20, 30, 40 years ahead of them. So they should be part of it. They should be part of it. Okay. And people like me are all over to also lend a hand in ensuring that their participation is enhanced.
Okay, well, Senator Obanikoro, I'll crave your indulgence to let us stretch this conversation maybe for an extra 5 or 10 minutes. We need to go back to our correspondent who is out there on the field, Charles Flames, for an update. Charles Flames?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, since we last spoke, we've been having a conversation with Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, who is a grassroots politician in Lagos, despite his experience at the international level and at the national level. So what is the update from the field? Has there been an improvement in turnout? Are there any incidents? Because there are some people who are afraid, concerned, that there may be outbreak of violence in some parts of Lagos because of the way the primaries turned out, particularly in the two major political parties. What's the situation?
Well, I don't think there will be issue because every other polling unit I've been to, everywhere is very calm. And then it's still the same thing, very low turnout of voters. Everywhere is peaceful, actually. Nothing is happening. And I don't think after the whole exercise that there will be issue. I don't think so.
Okay, but from the polling booths that you have visited, what's your assessment of the level of transparency and efficiency in terms of election management?
Yeah, from all the polling units I've been to, the ballot boxes they use is very transparent, open, that each person can see through to know the amount of people that casted their vote so far. It's not covered, and even the box where you go in to do the thumbprint is open, because security men are all over the place. So I don't think they're covering up anything for now.
Okay, when you say security men are all over the place, is this a case of a militarized election, or is the police everywhere? Because only about 48 hours ago, Akim Odumusu, the commissioner of police in Lagos, was saying that he would occupy every possible space to ensure that there is no violent incident.
Yes, he actually did. He actually did, because on each of the polling units, you can find at least four policemen on each of the polling units. So he actually did. I would say that he's actually working with his ward. And then, yes, even on roads, I can find a lot of OP Mesa men patrolling the roads, and policemen too patrolling the major roads. So everywhere is peaceful, so I don't think there will be any violence afterwards.
Okay, where exactly are you now? Where is the polling unit? Where are you, or the ward?
I'm still moving around, actually. I'm still moving around. So
yes, sir.
One other thing I want to add, if you allow me, is that the LASIEC people also need to do more advocacy. I know they are doing a lot. But you see, in terms of enlightenment, they need to do more. Because you see, leading to I know the politicians are supposed to go everywhere and campaign and take their message to the people. But on the other hand too, the LASIEC people should come out and also assure the people that what they are going to embark on will be a free and fair process, that people should not be afraid of participation, or that whether their votes will count or not is also important. That message coming out from LASIEC will strengthen the belief of some people too in the process, because quite a long number of people believe that the thing is fait accompli, that nobody can defeat the ruling party in the state. They, as the umpire, needs to disabuse that kind of mindset.
Okay, fair enough. We have another caller on the line. Your name, your location, and please keep it brief.
Hello, Dr. Abati.
Good afternoon.
Moses from Isolo. I agree with the Senator. Just a question concerning clarification. Is it that they are totally against electronic transmission, or that it should be regulated? I want clarification because it's been backed around as if everybody is against, as those that voted in the Senate, against electronic transmission. Is it that they don't want it, or that it should be regulated? Let there be clarity, please. And for those who don't vote, they don't have any say when things go wrong. As voters today, I've been mobilized as many as I can. Those who don't vote, they should learn to keep quiet if things don't go their way. Thank you.
Senator Obanikoro, I hope you heard that.
Well, I think he's trying to say that is it a done deal, that the bill is already finished? Is that what he's saying?
No, he's asking whether it's an outright rejection of electronic transmission, or
no. But you see, I spoke to this.
Yes, okay.
I spoke to this earlier. I said the Senate version. The House of Reps version is also suggesting that electronic transfer be put in place. That is the House of Reps version. But the Senate version is the one that outrightly rejected it now, at the present moment, until they are convinced that INEC has the capacity to transmit from every nook and cranny of this country. But the House of Rep is saying yes to it, from my reading of the situation. And as I've said, the thing is going to go to the conference to harmonize it. So I hope if we put sufficient pressure, those are people are calling in now, but about few people who have called in now, they've called in support of electronic transmission. And that is representing the views of the majority of Nigerians. If that is, if we can take that as an opinion poll. So what I may also say is that let all of us continue to call they all have, unfortunately, there is no Twitter for now, but there are other platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Let us use all these platforms that are available to convey our positions to the members of the Senate and the members of the House of Reps. That can still go a long way in shaping the final document that will come from the conference.
Okay, we'll take maybe one or two more calls and then we'll call it a day. Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, to the paper, I quickly remember something. You talked about last year charging 150,000 for nomination fee, and I want to take you to Ogun State. I know they also charge money, but the NCP party took them to the court, and the court ruled that it should be free, and I think it's free. That is for the nomination forms of interest, showing of interest. That's one. Number two, my senator, the 37 LCDs in Lagos, compared to what the federation account recognizes, which is 20. How do you reconcile this disparity if you now marry that with the problems that people have been talking about in Nigeria, the imbalances, the lack of equity, the unfairness, which of course is leading to many agitations right now, and you put that alongside the PIB, the 3%, condemnation, trailing gas. So how do you marry all of this? Because these are very critical issues as far as I am concerned. And if you don't really address them, the issue of Nigeria unity is still going to be, questioned. And if we don't have that peace, without justice and whatever, do you think we can ever have headway as a nation? Thank you.
Can I have the first? Can you please help me with the first question again? I had the PIB. I think.
No, he was saying that in neighboring Ogun State, a party went to court.
Oh, okay. Yes, that the court quashed the 150,000 intention. Okay.
Okay, but you were going to respond to the other points that you raised?
No, I heard that. I didn't hear one of. I think one borders on the PIB, right?
Yes, he's saying, look, there's so much confusion about PIB, about local councils, about electoral order. How do we reconcile all this confusion?
Well, that is what democracy is all about. And the people must refuse to be confused. You see, if we observe what's been going on, if we've been paying attention to what has been going on in America and even UK in the last few years, politically, you will see an effort, a strong attempt to confuse the electorate. That is what politics is all about. But in the middle of all that, responsible people must find a way to do the job of the people. That is why you saw Biden and some Republican senators and some Democratic senators coming together to introduce an acceptable spending bill for the infrastructural the growth of their country. So, yes, all these things, confusion here and there, is normal in democratic, because this is a battle of ideas. And everybody wants to prove that their own idea is better than the other. And in the middle of that, it is the good people that must make sure that the right things does not get lost in the process. But to say that you will have some graveyard silence or some no. In the middle of politics, more so when we are approaching another election, no, people will try to play a fast one on the people by through rhetoric, through actions and inactions. But as I've said, the bottom line remains that it is important for our democracy to have legitimacy. As we are now, and the direction we are going as a nation, that legitimacy is being threatened seriously. And we should not wait for people to revolt before we do the needful. All these incremental changes that they are making is not going to get the country anywhere. We need a quantum leap from where we are to the next level. That is my own position.
Well, Senator Obanikoro, I see that Olalere Babashola has had his hand up on the Zoom link for quite a while. So, Olalere Babashola, if you could just join us. And after that, and Senator Obanikoro's response, we'll take further reports from Charles Flames, a reporter who is out there. Olalere Babalola, if you could please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. And Your Excellency, thank you and welcome to this. I have enjoyed every moment of the conversation you are doing. I look at you and I want to hope that when I'm your age, I will also look. So thank you. Please, Your Excellency, as an introduction to my question, I want to commend your forthrightness, your honesty, and accepting where things are not working. But the important thing is that we need to find a way to get it working. And my question is that, as I am one of the people, I consider myself the people you describe as elites, educated, who complain on Twitter, on WhatsApp, just lamenting everywhere. And there have been times that I've told myself that lamenting on social media does not get us anywhere. The way it can be better is that since we vote on party basis, the only meaningful way we can make meaningful change is that we should join parties and be part of the process that selects the candidates.
Absolutely.
And that can be voting and choosing between good candidates and bad candidates. Because quite frankly, with all respect, I respectfully say that today, when we see candidates, we're not making choice between good and bad candidates. So it's you are choosing one bad or another bad one. So, and to change it, I thought the narrative is that we should join parties. But, Your Excellency, I know that there are politically correct answers you can give me. Parties today, not only APC, but also PDP, any big party today, at every ward level, they are owned by somebody. And you cannot easily just walk into a party office, register, become a member of the political party, even when I'm not planning to contest. I just want to be part of the process. Please, how can this change to accommodate elites like me? I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for rights. I just want to join, be part of the process to challenge and be able to question people we elect, invite them and make them more accountable to us. But today it does not work like that. I've not been able to join the party, even APC, sir.
Well, I quite sympathize with you. And let me say this with all, I want to be honest. I want to be as honest as possible. If I tell you the problem you've narrated does not exist, I'll be deceiving myself. But what I believe is that we cannot say because the system is so bad, then we're going to sit on the fence. You just must find a way to join and be part of it and find a way to change within. You can't be outside and change the system. As you were talking, something was going through my mind that maybe the political parties will need to prescribe the process by which a candidate must emerge. And any candidate that emerges out of that prescribed procedure is a nullity. But there must be a standard for all these things that we do. But as we speak now, we don't have any standard. We don't have any standard. So, but it will take all of us who wants this change badly to come in and ignore what obtains now and just confront the future head on and say, we have to change this. And if there are so many of us around the table, there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be able to effect some of these changes that we are seeking, and that will be better for our society. The way we are going now is not the way to go. It's like a trailer. I mean, it's like someone who is walking towards a trailer. If you don't pull the person off, the trailer will crush the person. That is exactly the direction we are going now as a nation and as a people. There will be a lot of hopelessness if we don't change the direction.
Thank you, Senator Obanikoro. We're already running out of time, but just before we go...
And Doctor,
yes.
Doctor, so please, just one second. And hopelessness can lead to anything. The last thing you want is to get your people into a state of hopelessness. And when people are hopeless, they become desperate. And when people are desperate, they can do anything. So that is not where we want our people to be going forward. I hope and pray that those who are being myopic today, who are thinking that they are protecting their own position, will see that they are risking the future of the country and do the needful so that that doomsday that some people are predicting does not come to pass.
Well, Senator, please stay with us. Charles Flames had promised that he will call back into the studio, and he's right there on the line. Charles, what do you have for us?
Okay, so right now I have a polling agent, a party agent rather, from the Young Progressive Party, polling unit 021 Ifako Ijaye Ward E. His name is Timothy, and he'll be telling us he will be giving us an update on what is going on in this area. Hello, Timothy.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Timothy. Please, could you give us your own eyewitness account, your assessment so far of what has been going on? And please don't be too partisan or don't be partisan. I know you are a member of the YPP. Just give us an eyewitness account.
The Youth Progressive Party, sir. Yes, sir. We have been here since morning around 8:30, but before the INEC officials arrived, it was around 9:30, and before they could even arrange everything, it was around after 10. So they started conducting the election around after 10. And up till now, the issue we have on ground here, as I'm telling you right now, that people are not coming out to vote. You see, it's like we Nigerians, we are tired of coming out. We are tired of wasting our effort. We are tired of sitting or standing inside the sun to vote for our rights. And the voting we are talking about is our rights. If we don't come out, how do we defend our rights?
Yeah, but this is local council election. If it were governorship election, do you think they will come out? Is it a problem with the fact that this is local government and not major elections in the views of in the eyes of the people?
The fact is not about local or governorship election. This is local government election. This is house to house. This thing, and we must even have more power to use that. See, like what I'm saying, if you don't have funds, there's nothing you have to depend on. This is our right. If we vote and later on we now see another thing, then we can even raise alarm that we have to fight for so and so. But we don't fight. If we don't vote, how do we defend? We don't vote now. We keep on saying we know the actual party that we win. You see the statement. That's the thing that Nigeria always says. You don't come out to vote and you have it in mind that, okay, we know the actual party that we win. No, it doesn't done that way. You have to come out, vote for your choice. Vote your choice person, your right man into the position. Then after on, you can now have you can sit and even have boldness and confidence to talk that, okay, social government is not okay. If you don't vote, how do you want to fight? How do you want to defend?
Well, Senator Obanikoro, our guest, made exactly that same point earlier on, and he even called on the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission to call out, to do more advocacy so that the people will know that every election is important.
It's important.
Yes. Thank you very much, Timothy, for joining us. Charles Flames, over to you. Any other observations from the field?
Okay, so still the same. Like I said, everywhere still close to. And the polling agents are actually waiting for people to still come out to cast their votes since there's still a little time before they round off everything. So they're still waiting, actually.
Okay, thank you very much, Charles Flames. I'll go back to Senator Obanikoro for his closing comments as we bring this to a close this Saturday. Senator Obanikoro, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here with you. Thank you, Doctor. My take in all this is that as we agitate for the restructuring of Nigeria, it is equally important to make the restructuring of local government administration an issue. It is a very, very important issue. If we don't attract the best and the brightest to the local government level, there is no meaningful development that can take place in this country. As it is, we are in deficit in almost every sector, be it education, be it infrastructural development, be it in health sector, be it in road network, be it in anything, health sector, all sectors, we are in deficit. And if the quantum leap that is needed is going to be obtained, you need the brightest and the best to get there. So my call, it might be painful, but sometimes they say no pain, no gain. We need to place more emphasis on the local government administration because it is the closest to the people. It's easier to harass a local government chairman than to harass a governor. Even the security around the governor will make it almost impossible for you to assess him. But the local government administrators don't have that kind of security around them. They are more accessible to people and they know their constituents more. You will agree with me that a local government chairman is likely to know more of his constituents than the governor will know the state, his constituents in the state. So that is why we need to take that level more serious. We have not, unfortunately. In the past, it was not like this. But for a reason, everything just went the way it is now. But we can still make corrections. And I hope we'll be man enough to do that. Thank you.
Well, on that note, I would also like to thank you very much, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, for joining us.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Reuben. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. And thank you also, all our listeners and those who called in and those who joined us on all the available platforms. Remember, the conversation does not end here. You can reach out to me on my social media account at Abati1990 on Instagram and also at City1051 on all social media platforms. For those of you who tuned in late, no need to worry. You can visit YouTube page City1051 to watch the entire show. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave comments. And don't forget also to tune in next week at noon for another exciting edition of City Talks. My name is Reuben Abati. The show was produced by Adedoja Allen, Abiodun Odunton, Ayodamola Oludara, Bello Hakim, and Oluwaseun Adetitun. Thank you very much indeed. Have a great weekend. We look forward to joining you again next Saturday.
City Talks with Reuben Abati.